This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Well, hello, and welcome to Riffs on Riffs, where I'm just feeling a little outside of my comfort zone. I feel like I'm losing a little bit of control of all the things. I might need your help in this episode. So I know you've always got my back.
Of course.
So help me rein it in, help me reel it in, help me reset and bring things right back to where they should be.
You know what? There was a wise fish.
Okay, I got to stop you right there. How do you know a fish is wise?
Just from the words that this fish said. Just keep swimming. Just keep
This
swimming.
was a Zen fish.
It was a very zen. For those that don't know, today we are talking about Teddy Swims and his single, Lose Control.
Is that why we were talking about the fish?
Yeah, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Well, Teddy Swims, keep swimming, but also if you don't know what to do, just keep swimming as well.
Keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
But if you already have lost control, but then what? Do you have to stop swimming? Well, I don't think you want to stop. Maybe you want to do a little bit of what's that maneuver where you tread water? That's it.
Tread water. Yeah, I think it's right. That's about right.
Well, we are talking about Teddy Swims. We are thinking about losing control, or at least his song already lost control. It lost control all the way up the charts. Here's a crazy thing I read about this song, Toby. It debuted in June of 23. Debuts at number 99 on the top 100. So, okay, that's good. We cracked the charts. We're good. And then over the course of 32 weeks, it climbs all the way to number 1 in March of 2024, which is the longest chart climb ever to get to number 1. So I just wonder what happens over the course of those 32 weeks. Is this like the stock market? You wake up and you check the paper every morning. You're like, oh, where am I at? Nobody reads the paper, Toby. Why would you even make that reference?
I don't know what happened over the course of those 30 odd or even weeks to help him climb that way. But I will say this is that is very, very difficult to hide this amount of talent. To hide this dude's voice is going to be very, very tough. Next to impossible if given certain platforms to put it on. So I'm curious. Here's my first question to you, because I feel like Lose Control is probably some folks' first time that they heard this guy sing at all. Like this was like the first time. So what was your first time hearing him? Was that it? Was it this song or no?
I think I had seen Bed on Fire once upon a time. That was off one of his early EPs. But I would say this is the first time I paid attention. And I think it was because apparently, he kind of rose to prominence doing all of the YouTube things, which is the new thing, right? And he did a cover of Tennessee Whiskey, kind of Chris Stapleton's version of it. When I heard Lose Control, I actually thought it was Chris Stapleton. I was like, oh, Stapleton's got a new single out, right? Because there's that grit, there's some similarities in their voices. They're not identical or anything, but with a casual listen, I hadn't realized that it was somebody else. And then when The Door came out, and I forget what the new single is, but I really dig that one too.
Is it
That's when
Bad
I was like,
Dreams? Is that what you're talking about? Bad Dreams?
Bad Dreams. I really like that one. That's when I started paying attention. So it's kind of like his 32-week climb.
It's like a slow burn.
It's like a slow burn.
Yeah. So
how about you?
With me, as you remember, COVID was the time where, everybody was inside. And we're just searching for things online, searching for ways and entertainment online. So I remember being on YouTube And one of my favorite artists, one of my like top 10 right now is Alan Stone. Alan Stone, singer, fantastic artist. He was doing a YouTube series basically called, I want to say it was called Live at the Lodge, right? So he's doing this series called Live at the Lodge, and he had other people there, like Mac Ayres was there with him, but he also did an episode with Teddy Swims, and they're singing Sarah Smiles, right? Sarah Smiles.
Oh,
so
I love
I'm
that
like, ooh. So I mean, if you're on stage with Alan, like I automatically give you props. Like, okay, you obviously can sing. I still didn't quite know like he was going to bring it like he brought it. And so just to kind of frame it, that video series is very similar to Daryl Hall's like Live at Daryl's, right? So it's like,
love that. Yeah.
You gotta love it, right? You gotta love it.
I
So
love
it's
that,
very
yeah.
similar to that, but they were just killing that song, and they're harmonizing, and you could tell it's off the cuff, but it's just good, you know? And it's like, you can tell it's live. It's not over processed or anything like that. And I was like, okay, this dude, whoever this dude is, because I didn't know who he was. Like, whoever this dude is really good, you know? And then I think next time I saw him was on TikTok. And then I heard the song and I was like, what? It makes sense. So again, it was a slow burn.
Slow burn. And there's a little irony because the song is Lose Control, but this cat has great control over his voice. He's covered so many genres, you know, even on the YouTube stuff. Part of it was intentional, as he is influenced and loves lots of different artists, but he was also thinking, I want to cover a whole lot of different songs so that people who maybe normally wouldn't listen to one genre or one specific artist might discover it through my cover and then be like, oh, that's a great tune, and then go back and find the original track and listen to the artists. And so it was his goal was like, well, if I do some George, you know, if somebody likes George Strait and they end up listening to Frank Ocean, then I've done my job. And I think that in and of itself kind of speaks to not only his wide range of vocal ability and you know, ability to cover different artists, but just kind of the meaning and heartfelt messaging behind it.
It was definitely intentional. Definitely was intentional. And the other thing too is that the one thing I like about him is I definitely feel like I'm getting him. Like, as far as him being on stage, very authentic. I mean, this is a dude, like, half the time he's singing, it's like, dude, don't care, like, what he's wearing. Got the earrings, the gauges, I think they call it. You know, it's like, dude, it's me. I'm not trying to be like your typical R&B singer or just, you know, whatever, dude. I'm going to dress the way I want to dress. He comes authentic. I certainly appreciate that. And I feel if he had tried to, let's just say, if he tried to look like some of the other R&B singers, or like the stereotypical R&B or singer look, I feel like we would have lost something. You know what I'm saying? I think we would have lost something. I think it being a slow burn, he was like, look, you like me? Cool. If you don't, cool. You know, I'm going to keep singing. So I love it.
He's got a vibe, I think, similar to the way that Billie Eilish has a vibe. Like, there's a very distinct style and way of dressing and just, you know, showing up in the world. And to your point, it's very authentic, but it's still got like some sass and some personality, and clearly he's paying attention to it and curating a look, but it's all like I heard somebody say once, you know, the way you dress is showing how you feel on the inside, on the outside. And I feel like he's one of those artists that's doing that. And man, if we could all do that without repercussion, just imagine some of the outfits we'd see.
It would be nice. It would be nice. I think that kind of freedom, though, I mean, if you go back, I mean, the other thing about him I thought was interesting, like reading his history. This dude played football for 10 years, right? So this was a football like family. Dad was the one that kind of introduced him to soul, you know, Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder. So, I mean, you can hear it a little, you can hear hints of those styles when he's singing. And then, you know, music teacher or someone in the drama department said, you know what, you should try out for musical theater. Thank God for that individual. Right. Whoever that individual is, thank God for you mentioning that to him and having the boldness, right, to talk to a person that plays football and say, yo, you should come on. You got a nice voice. Come on over here, dude. Try this out. And I think the rest is kind of history. You know, I love it, though. I love it. I love his voice. I love this smokiness of it. You can tell he's done a lot of research on singers because he's cultivated this gravelly voice, if you will. And I can understand why you would mistake him, for the artist that sings Tennessee Whiskey. I get it. I hear it too. Chris Stapleton, right? So I hear it, but if you hear them back to back, it's still different.
Right.
It's still different.
Much,
they're two totally different artists. And if you listen to songs like Bad Dreams, it's like, Chris ain't singing this song. Chris can do a lot. Chris is amazing, but he's just not going to opt to do that song, where Teddy is. And I love it.
And I think Teddy can pull back on that and get some kind of remove some of that rasp and gravelly and still have this like kind of pure R&B voice, which is really nice. I want to ask you this, Tobe, as a vocalist of renowned talent.
Oh boy. Going
back to, his acting days and getting involved in drama. And he said that served him well because a lot of times, lots of singers, he's like, I think I can riff with the best of them. I can do the runs and whatever. But a lot of times I've got to hit this note and I've got to pack, if I just hold this and pack emotion and meaning into a singular note or phrase or whatever. And he had this quote. He said, singing is more acting than singing sometimes. And I was like, that's a really profound statement. And I wonder if you ever think about that when you're singing, where it's like, I'm not thinking about the technical stuff. I'm thinking about, hey, how am I conveying the character that's being played or the message of this song in a way that maybe I wouldn't do if I was really just trying to belt this track?
I definitely know how that feels, right? I've been in that zone. I've been in that mindset, that mental space on stage when I'm singing. It doesn't happen all the time. But when I think about singing, like I see cats in my head, I'm seeing Stevie Wonder, I'm seeing Ray Charles. Like you see like Ray Charles, when he sings, he kind of sways back and forth. This dude is feeling it. Stevie had the same type rock back and forth. And if you look at like, modern time singers, right? Like Jennifer Hudson, if you look at, the way she moves with her music, she feels it. There's no doubt about it. She feels it, and I feel like, if you can hit the note, great. But if you can hit the note and let people know that there's effort behind this, at least be performative enough to let people know that what kind of effort is behind it. Like in the new version of Color Purple, the musical, Fantasia is amazing. Like she is amazing. She is worthy of and deserving of any award that you can give her for her performance. But I saw like one of the rehearsals they did, just behind the scenes, and people, they're rehearsing, but you could see people just like, forget the lines, let's just listen. Let's just listen. People were closing their eyes. People act like they were in church. And I feel like he's got the voice. Teddy has the voice to absolutely do it. So it is performative. But to make you, and I feel like there are certain actors that can make you feel the words, like you actually believe that this character is not a character. This is actually a real person. That's really so-and-so, right? It's not just a role. But in order to do that, you have to really know the lines. You got to know the lines as far as acting is concerned. To do this singing wise, you got to know the song. You got to like, not just the words, but you got to know when to bring it up, when to lower it down. You got to know all the little parts. That's the way I feel.
So I think it speaks to kind of that behind the scenes work that goes on. You have to put in all of the time to be able to pull out that talent whenever you want, to be able to emote, to pull back, to belt a note, to let a note crack, that's so much control over your instrument, to be able not only to know when to do that, but to be able to do it on command in the moment, because that's what you're feeling the moment calls for. And I think to your point, Tobe, that is years of work behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? It makes sense, though. I mean, this is a guy that he spent some of his high school years doing drama, right? In the music theater and whatnot. So he knows how to play a role. This dude wasn't just some guy in the chorus. He actually had major roles in those plays and those performances. And then when you are doing a whole bunch of, when you're working with a bunch of different bands, as well, different genres of bands. We're talking alternative rock, we're talking soul, we're talking,
Yeah.
like hair metal bands as well. I mean, like when you do that, you can't just hit the notes, man. It's more than that. You can't, we're not going to go from Journey to Warrant and coming with the same energy. You can't do that. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be believable.
You know who he reminds me of, Tobe? This is going to offend some people, maybe. It's Michael Bolton. Michael started as a metal singer and clearly had the vocal chops and had that rasp and all of those things.
Oh, yeah.
And went that, pop R&B route.
Sure.
I actually think Teddy, I personally enjoy Teddy's voice much more. Michael's voice just on me kind of grated a little bit, but
Sure.
I think from where they started in music and where they ended up, I think, and some of that grit and their tone, it's not a great comparison. But when you were talking about Warrant and some of the hair metal stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, that's right. He did start off that way. I do think that Teddy's got more freedom now to do whatever he wants.
Yes.
And, who I compare him to right now, and it's not a perfect comparison either, but someone that I feel can do any kind of music they want just because of the way that they're looked at, the way that they're viewed, is CeeLo Green. I feel like CeeLo can literally do whatever he wants right now. I mean, he started off in hip hop. He is an MC. Like, that was it. When I found out he could sing, it's like, oh, okay, he can sing a little bit. Cool. So can I. Great. Good for you. Kudos. But then when he did the project, Gnarls Barkley, I'm like, yo, okay, this is different. It's a whole nother level. This is serious, So I think Teddy can absolutely do that, because here he is right now. And from what I'm understanding, I don't know where I heard this. I think I read it, that he can also rhyme as well.
I think that was one of his first tracks was somebody was like, hey, you want to do a verse? And it's funny you bring up CeeLo, and going back to Live at Daryl's House, CeeLo Green's episode of Live at Daryl's House.
Sir.
So good.
Yes, sir.
So good.
Yes, sir. I can't go for that, man. I just finished watching that. I was like, man, this still holds up. But those jam sessions, you get to see who's really got who's got talent, who's real. Who's really real. So that's what it reminded me of. That's exactly what Alan Stone's show kind of reminds me of. So
well, we never actually talked about where the name Teddy Swims came from, right? Because his real name is Jayton Dimsdale. And I think it gets back to kind of that acting persona. So SWIMS is an acronym for someone who isn't me sometimes. And it was this idea of when you're doing music, when you're doing art in general, right? Sometimes you are playing a character. Sometimes you're playing a role. It's for the sake of the art. The intention behind it for him was, music is for the greater good. So if we can all relate to this, then it's a collective thing. And so, I don't know, the more I read about and learn about him, it just seems like he's got a good heart, and he's like really trying to kind of instill positive messaging. And there's a lot of vulnerability in this last album, even in this song specifically. I mean, you've probably never been there, Tobe, but apparently there are some relationships that aren't super healthy. And, some people will chase that high from the low spots and just kind of get lost in that vortex of, it's just...
Yeah.
And I think that's what this whole album's about.
I'm glad. I haven't listened to the whole album. I did listen to a couple of tracks just in preparation for this. And I did get a sense of the vulnerability and the fact that, how he's writing, or whoever is writing these tracks, and how they, putting all this together. Just Bad Dreams alone, I was like, man, that's dope. That's a really dope song. It's deep. They've had other songs about bad dreams, but it just hit me different. And just the words were different. The visualization of the words coming together, it just hit me different. But all of that, I will say is this, man. I think that, and it's not true in all cases, but you're talking to a cat that did all the choirs and all that kind of stuff, right? And I think that involving that at an early age just opens you up to appreciate a lot of different things, right? And just, be able to tap into a different side of you. And, if you only did football and you got into music late, I mean, you're still talented. I mean, your voice is your voice, right? But I think it's different. I just think it's a different thing. And case in point, I did see, my first time looking at him, watching him sing, perform was with Alan Stone on YouTube, but I did also see him on TikTok. So on TikTok, he's not singing alone. This dude's singing with other cats. So if I hear a good voice, I'm gonna follow you, man. If you got a couple good songs, I'm gonna follow you, right? So I see him singing with two other cats. They're just sitting in the kitchen, right? And they're just, some sitting on the counter, one dude's standing up and the other dude's leaning on the refrigerator, and they just start singing. And dude, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. But it's not they use harmonies that I was like, they took choir. Like they took choir.
Right.
Like there's no, like that doesn't just, they're in choir.
It was learned somewhere.
You're right. It's a learned thing. And they did it so well. I don't know. I loved it. But like I said, I appreciate the music programs that they have in high schools and things like that. But I just don't think that you get that exposure just anywhere. Schools that don't have them, and it's just sad.
And I think we talked about this in previous episodes. It makes me sad for some of the generation now because there's a fixation on, oh, you're really good at this sport. The coaches will say, only play the sport. The parents, and now we got to play club, and now we got to do, it gets insane. And you're losing so much from being exposed to, I can play multiple sports, I can do theater, I can do choir, I can be in the band, I can do whatever. And that's what being a kid should be about, is getting exposed to all that stuff, finding what really resonates with you and not having it be weird. But somehow it's gotten weirder and weirder as the generations progress.
Try to specialize too soon, too early.
Yep.
If you're going to take an exit ramp from one thing to the other, it's like there's no way to get back on the highway of discovery. That doesn't lead to a great destination. When in reality, things go in cycles, and you get off, you can search around in this place and get right back on the highway, go and come on back. So, that's the beautiful part about life. You don't realize that till sometimes too late, but sometimes as an adult, it's like, damn. But I too, appreciate the diversity of it all. I like it. I think I know that it adds to his career, him being able to have all that experience. I think now he performs a little different. He can work with different crowds. It's like, okay, that's, you got it. So that's awesome.
That idea of you can tell somebody's voice when they can show up anytime, anywhere, and just bust it. And there's so many videos of him just randomly on a show here, on a live performance here, and it's consistent, and it's consistently good. I just watched one, and I apologize because I don't remember the dude's name, who was, basically busking on the street in Sydney. And whoever that guy is phenomenally talented too. And apparently he and Teddy had worked together because Teddy, I'm sure it was staged because it's, the video is well shot and whatever. But basically Teddy's walking by and it's like, oh, hey, it's really good to see you. And just like pops in. And I guess the two had written a track previously. And he's like, hey, you want to it might have even been Lose Control. I don't think it was. It might have been though. And Teddy's like, do you want to take a verse? Why don't you sing that verse that you wrote? And there's just this joy of collaboration. And I think even early in his career, when he started making money, he did that song in that video about how I used to be broke, but now I've got money and I can share it with all my friends kind of thing. And it's always kind of that message of hope, that message of how do I share this with the people around me? How do I bring people up, around me? And I think even on you look at the credits on this album, it seems like every song is written by 4 people and produced by 2 and whatever. And usually I look at that a little side-eyed, like, okay, come on, like really what's going on here? But I genuinely get a sense that he enjoys the collaboration process and just kind of, hey man, I'll show up and work with anybody. I think they said they wrote like 150 songs just to get, to distill down for this album. So,
the album, what's the album title? What is it? What's the album?
I've tried everything but therapy.
Part 1.
Part 1, because part 2 is coming out next year.
Right. So I think, not all the time, but, I think when you participate in team sports or you do things like, choir and things like that, you're more apt and better positioned to kind of work with others, right? And I think that just kind of shows he's not afraid. And as long as he's comfortable, and he obviously can get up on stage and rock by himself, obviously, but do a collaborative effort for the best product, I think is good. Now, you had a question about his name, right? You were going to ask me, like, what would be the...
Well, yeah, because SWIMS is an acronym, basically.
Sure.
So if you were going to have if your stage name was going to be an acronym, what would it be, Toby?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good question. Good question. So,
thank you, Toby. I wrote that one myself.
You did.
I did.
You did. I should have said. I thought I was going to say it like I was surprised. You did. No. Anyway, so haiku has been my MC name and my music name forever. And it was funny. I wanted to be different. Haiku is normally spelled H-A-I-K-U, but I wanted to be different. So I made it H-E-I-K-U instead. And my boy, Len, said, hey, you know what that means? And I said, no. And this is like, man, this is like 2 years after I had been using this name. And he was like, it means having extensive intellect, knowledge, and understanding. And I was like, thank you. Appreciate you. And I've used it like that ever since. Yeah.
Is that why the halo just kind of glows around you all the time? I thought it was just a trick of the lighting from, the video on this call, but then I saw it in person and
Calm down.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. What about you? You have one?
I think similar actually is, I've been called Mojo for a long time for obvious reasons. Right. And I was like, I kind of what would I do with Mojo? And I was like, I think master of joyous optimism.
Oh.
I think that's what I'm going with.
Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Well done.
But I think that's generally how I try to approach things. Like, what's the Monty Python? Always look on the bright side of life.
Yeah.
Within reason, because some things suck. But
some things
you got to get to the optimism at some point.
We do. Even if we got to fight for it.
This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free via DistroKid. You can send credits to stores, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
So why wait? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffsonriffs.
The holidays are in full swing, and Abercrombie Kids has everything on their wish list. Check it all off during their Get Gifting sale. Start with festive outfits like sweaters and dresses for holiday parties. Then finish up with cozy sweatshirts and sweatpants made to mix and match all winter and beyond. Get gifting with Abercrombie Kids in the app, online, and in stores.
So, follow-up question.
Yeah.
Obviously, Teddy's got lots of tattoos, which seems to be the thing now between, Jelly Roll and who's that guy?
Post Malone.
Thank you. Yes. All right. First of all, I thought it was funny because he was close to his grandfather. His grandfather was like, "Hey, whatever you do, don't put a tattoo on your face." And so clearly he's got lots of tattoos on his face now. And apparently when his grandfather died, he got a tattoo on his face that says "Home at Last." for his grandfather is kind of like, so I think that's funny. But
that is funny.
If you were going to work with me here, Toby, because I know you probably wouldn't get a tattoo on your face, but if you were, what would the message be?
I probably would put an album title on. I can see an album title on my face. If I'm going to do a face tattoo, I can see an album title.
Okay.
I don't know which album, but I was trying to think of like some title. But I think that would be kind of cool. Like maybe something that wrapped around the ear, like Songs in the Key of Life or something like that. I think that would be kind of cool.
I was thinking like Fulfilling in his first finale or something, right? Like something that's just way too long from Stevie. Just right across your forehead. It's got to take up 3 lines. Looks like creases.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't have any tattoos, first and foremost. I have none.
Yeah.
My brother's got all the tattoos. I don't have any tattoos.
And we're not going to out him here, but we've had conversations about his tattoos.
Dude got too many. But go ahead. What about you? Face tattoo. What do you think?
Oh, man. See, I just asked the question, Stub. I don't have to answer them. I think I'd just get something simple like hope. I think we just need more hope in the world. And that's simple. And I feel like it'd be kind of hard to mistype. I mean, maybe somebody would put like hype or something, or I'm not even sure how you could screw that up. But I feel like I'd mostly be in the clear. It wouldn't be like no regrets.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So clearly appearance, thankfully people are allowed, it seems more now, to just kind of lean into their own personality and show up however they want. Do you think that appearance matters less as far as pop stardom now than it used to? And is there still a huge double standard for women?
So yes to the second question. It certainly is a huge double standard.
Yes.
Right? Yes. That's the easy part. I do think it matters how you show up. I do think it matters. I don't think it necessarily matters as much as it did before, but I think it all also depends on what you're trying to portray, what you're trying to be on stage. So for example, you got Chris Brown, some other male artists, quick to take the shirt off, show off the body, this, that, and the third.
Usher.
Right, Usher, right. So you have those, and do your thing. It's cool. It's cool.
Sex sells.
Right. So, and I'm not saying they're not genuine artists, because obviously those are very talented people, but there's more than one way that you have to present yourself, or that you can present yourself. And I feel, just because old boy don't want to have the body of one of those folks or whatever, or have to dance or whatever, doesn't mean that he shouldn't have a record deal, or we shouldn't have the privilege of listening to his music. So, I'm thinking, because of how, especially like these last like 5 to 10 years, and how they've been, as far as like all the fat shaming is right now. People know that that's just a no-go. We don't do that, right? I think because of things like that now, I think it's much better. We're getting cats that actually, have, if they have the talent. That's really what we're judging on. We're evaluating. Hey, do you have the talent? Can you actually bring it or not? Because we already talked about Chris Stapleton. We talked about, you mentioned Jelly Roll out here too. I mean, there's a whole host of folks. It's like, these folks do not look like some of the folks from yesteryear as far as being up on stage. And no one cares. Because you bringing it. No one cares. You're bringing it, So that's my impression, my answer to that. What about you? What are you thinking? Same thing?
We have so much access to any artist, right? I mean, he blew up on YouTube. So people have the ability now to, way before a record company even knows they exist, to put their stuff out in the world. And guess what? There's millions and millions of people that look exactly like any other artist out there. And so now I can relate to you, I can relate to your story, and I can really appreciate and get excited about your talent. I just wonder, it goes back to that idea of the artist's abilities now to have a direct connection to audience without the gatekeeping of a record company, early in their careers, I think allows people with genuine talent to build a fan base and start to kind of chart their own career trajectory way before somebody steps in and says, oh, you got to have a vibe, you got to have a look, you have to be X, Y, and Z. they've already had so much success that it's like, well, I'm not going to tell you to change it. You're doing just fine. Keep doing what you're doing because people are relating to it.
I think authenticity is just important. It just really, really is important. And, and I think that the longer we go, the more that we have artists out there that just want to do their own thing and don't care about the conventions of looking a certain way, I think the better that we're going to be. I mean, because all I really care about is the music. That's what I really care about. The bottom line is the music. I don't care how good you look. If you can't sing, it does not matter, right? It really doesn't matter. And I think like people like, Missy Elliott for what she did back in the day, I think that was just like, it was perfect. You know, what Biggie did, perfect. And I think, a little bit of a stretch, but like an artist like Sia.
Oh yeah, I love Sia.
Right. So she's a fantastic artist, right? Great voice, fantastic writer. But she has stage fright, right? She's just has got the fear back.
She's got the lampshades and whatever,
And I think that's just so different and cool. I love it.
Yeah, it reminds me because you were talking about how those great artists get in that zone and they feel it, right? They start swaying. They're in that moment. There is a fantastic clip of Sia, and I want to give kudos to. It was way before she became well known. She was playing with 07 at the time, and it was one of those radio station gigs. So I think it was in Buffalo or New York, whatever, some radio station. The 07 is in there doing their thing, and she's one of the singers. And oh my God, like, I mean, it's her, her, and oh my God, I'm spacing on who's also the other singer on the track, but she is in that zone in that moment and owns that song. And you could tell right out of the gate, like, wow, this is a different kind of talent just from, and also I want to give mad props to whoever was the random radio engineer in the room. That's the sound guy, because he did an amazing job of mixing all of that. Like, it's the coolest thing. We'll have to throw that one on the socials because it's worth a watch.
That's awesome. Yeah. There's some talent out there, man. There's talent out there. And I there's nothing like watching another artist get into that zone, and nothing like watching a musician get into that zone, right? Yeah. You see a guitar player just like feel it and just go off script, and everybody's like, what's Carl doing? Does anybody know where's Carl? Let Carl, and then somebody's like, let him go, just keep playing. Keep playing, right? And it's like,
he's got it.
And then after the performance, you're like, dude, you feel all right? You feel all right? It's like, yeah, man, I feel good. I was like, I know you do. You just killed that. And it's nothing like that, man. It's nothing like that vibe, nothing like that feeling. And I see it. It doesn't, like, I've seen it like a whole bunch of artists, right? We talk about musicians. I've seen drummers get in that zone. I've seen guitar players. I've seen piano players. I've seen singers. And I've seen actors and MCs just get into that zone where it's just like, it doesn't matter what you throw at them right now. They are so in it, so convincing. It's like, it's a beautiful thing. And I feel like the more that we can tap into that and be comfortable where we're at, because I think that's you have to be comfortable in order to get into that zone. There's got to be some level, some layer of comfort surrounding you, I feel, to get in that zone.
You got to be safe.
Right. You look at therapeutic sessions, right? Therapy sessions, they got the comfortable couches, they got the music, it smells nice. They make you feel very good so they can ask you some tough questions and be vulnerable enough, but yet strong enough to actually, put it out there.
Well, and I do hope that Teddy eventually does try therapy, because it sounds like he's tried everything else. And I think that's the next step, because it can be really beneficial. I would encourage anybody to, find a good therapist. But I think the thing that he's doing in addition is that vulnerability, like writing about, oh, this is a tough breakout. My wife left me, and it is interesting because kudos to this. He's pretty private about his private life, and I have no issue with that. But he's been through some stuff, as we all have. And I think a lot of artists will put that, Amy Winehouse used to do that. And hopefully for him, this is that cathartic therapy. Let's put this out. But also it becomes that human experience that we can relate to. And I think it's hard for whatever. Actually, here's a question. So, Amy makes the album. I don't want to go to rehab, all of the other stuff. And she's incredibly vulnerable, but she's a woman. Is it different? I think I'm going to argue that it is for a man to step up and say, man, this is what I'm experiencing. I'm going to like bare my soul and put out some of this pain and anguish and some of my vulnerability out here. I hope we get to a point where we're just doing way more of that, but I feel like it doesn't happen as often.
So you're saying, is it if someone sees in this world of fame, if we see an artist that appears that they are struggling, or having issues, are you saying specifically in their art, or we just think that they're having issues just in general, like not necessarily through their art, but putting it out? Because Amy actually put it in her art, right? That's a little bit different than...
Correct. But I think that's what Teddy's doing. I think that's what he's writing about. So that's my point. It's like, hey, I'm going through it. Yeah. I'm going to write about it.
Sure.
But now I'm going to put it out, right? Like Alanis did it back in the day. That was, Jagged Little Pill was like, whoo, that's a truth bomb of what she's going through.
If you're vulnerable like that, I do think you will get calls. I do think you will get people that say, hey, what's going on? But I think for men and women, I think it looks a little bit different. Maybe who you get the calls from will be a little bit different. I think if it's, I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I don't know. I'm just going off of observations, just a hypothetical. But if a woman were to do it, no, I'm not even going to go that route. I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. Right. What I will say is this, is that I know with the Silver Foxes song that came out, Write the Rest, I did get one person that I shared it with. They were like, "Are you okay?" And I did get that, and I was like, I'm good. Yeah. Thanks for asking."
But I could see that actually.
Right. So I think it looks different. I think it sounds, I think it's going to be a little bit different. But then again, maybe not. I think right now, especially since mental health is really talked about a lot more than it was before. It's not necessarily looked at as weakness or anything like that. I think people are more willing to kind of talk about it.
I mean, I hope you're right. I guess that's what I worry about, is that somehow it's okay for women or certain people to be vulnerable and talk about it. But for men, it's still like, no, it's not okay. And that's why I really appreciate people like Teddy and honestly what we did, right? Like, hey, we're all human. We all have these experiences. There is no reason that we shouldn't be able to have meaningful conversation and through our art and in other places about it.
I didn't read the article, and I should have. I didn't know this conversation was going to take this route, but Shawn Mendes has been a person that good, very talented artist, has disclosed he's had issues dealing with pressure from the business and the attention and all that. Not sure if it started necessarily when he got famous, or if it was something he's always been dealing with. But I think, again, like you said, I'm hoping that things change and people are able to talk about it a little bit more. I mean, that young man should be able to put out whatever kind of record he wants to, and if he doesn't want to tour, then so be it. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. But if he only wants like small setting tours, that's fine. And I don't mean him specifically, but I feel like humans as a whole, we cause these issues. We create these problems when we really don't have to. This dude just wants to make music. If he wants to make music, then he should be allowed to make music. And if the repercussions for small stages is like, well, you don't make as much money, then so be it. That would be his decision, to expand it and kind of go from there. And that's fine.
A lot of artists, not a lot, but I hope more like Chappell Roan pushing back on, hey, a lot of stuff that's going on, with the paparazzi, with fans, with online stuff, it's toxic. It's not okay. And I'm allowed to push back on that and say, no, this is unacceptable. This is not even baseline human behavior. I hope we get to a point where we stop feeling like somehow these humans owe us something. They don't owe us anything. There's just another human who happens to have a tremendous talent that we can appreciate, but they're not obligated to share that with us.
I totally agree.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Everybody can have a bad day. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but people get so tired. I mean, I never did a major tour. I never did anything like that. But I've done a couple. I've traveled and performed before, right? Mini tours, small, mini being mini, small, not a lot. And I'm telling you, it's exhausting. And I mean, to know that there are some folks that go out and they perform, so many times, so many weeks, So, I mean,
imagine being Taylor.
Oof.
Right? Just the huge amount of pressure every single night to not only perform, but to get the crew up, to get the whole, I mean, there's a whole, it's not even entourage. I'm going to use a fall harvest term. It's a cornucopia of people that you're responsible for at that point. And so hundreds of thousands of fans, millions of fans across the tour, and then your own crew, it's just a ton of pressure. And so I give mad props to artists who can do that night after night after night consistently. It's a grind.
It most definitely is a grind. And that's why I'm always appreciative, right? That's why I'm always appreciative. There's been a couple of shows I've gone to and sometimes, dude, it's just not their night, right? It's like, it's not the night. But on those times, I try to keep my opinions to myself because I know it takes a lot to get up on stage and actually perform like that. That is a lot, so I get it. And, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But I have a question for you. Who's the producer that you'd want Teddy to work with?
All right. This is going to be a bit obvious because I think he's worked with everybody. I would like to see Rick Rubin work with Teddy to take Teddy's grit and turn it and give it some of that old school overcompressed bombast that Rick did on those early Run DMC and Beastie Boys stuff, and just see how far he could push that vocal. And so it wouldn't be the R&B, it wouldn't be the smooth stuff. It would be more of a gritty, almost further leaning. I wouldn't even say hip hop, but it would still be pop, but it would be, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what would come out.
Okay. Rick Rubin.
Yeah. You?
Mine would be, I would love to see him go full hip hop. I would love to see him go team up with Pharrell or Premier, DJ Premier. Because I think Premier especially, I mean, Pharrell can absolutely do it, but I think it'd be such a fantastic challenge for Premier to do it because Premier, remember, he did that entire album with Christina Aguilera, which was fantastic.
I forgot. I always forget about that, but yes. Yeah.
So he can do it. He's got the chops for it. Timbo could do it as well. I just think it would be. Yeah, but only reason I say I don't say Timbo.
It's going to sound like Timberland.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
So, and that's what I don't want.
And Timberland had he worked with Justin for so long, so I'd want something a little bit different. But Pharrell's version of that or Premier's version of that, I think would be kind of ill.
Yeah.
Who's an artist you'd like to see Teddy Swim, work with?
So my initial response is who could match his voice, from a grit and texture standpoint. But then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, if you've got a rock song, for example, and you've got two guitar tracks, sometimes it sounds really great. I think of the old Guns N' Roses records when you had Slash and Izzy, and both of them are playing. I know Slash wasn't playing a Les Paul, but essentially those dual humbuckers, kind of solid body sounds, and that has an amazing sound because they're similar in the way they show up. But I think there's something really interesting when you've got two guitars that, if you take a Strat, you take a Les Paul and you've got that humbucker, you've got that single coil. So you've got a little bit of that thinner cut. And then you've got that body and growl of a Les Paul. And I think that's maybe what I would like to see as a singer who maybe is purer in tone. I think I would definitely like to see a woman who's got, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but it's off the top of my head. What would Leve and Teddy sound like? Because they're so distinct in their voices, but so completely polar opposite in how they sound and how they approach stuff. And it could be amazing, or it could be what the hell were they thinking? But I think I'd like to try that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be interesting. I'm trying to think. Well, I have a name. I agree. I think a female singer would be much that I would like to see that. I would appreciate that. I'm thinking Tori Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's
she's
a
a
good
different
one.
type of singer, but she can sing, man. Tori Kelly, she's so dope, man. I love Tori. But I think, so chop wise, I think you have your, you're going pound for pound, right? But different styles. But at the same time, Tori can do some of it all. I can easily see her doing jazz. I could see her doing gospel. I could see her doing everything in between. And I could see this dude doing the same thing. Seeing them go at it would be fantastic. I think probably like an obvious choice, if you will. I can see him singing with Kelly Clarkson. I can see him singing with Jennifer Hudson.
He was on the show. It's really good.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Kelly is
right. Of course,
fantastic. Right. Of course he is. Right. Of course you did that. Right.
Of course. Right.
So, but yeah, that's probably the one that I would like.
That's nice. I like it. Well, Tobe, I think we have swum.
I think we swam.
We swam. We swam to the edge of the pool. I am out of breath.
Oh,
and
boy.
I'm holding on. I've got the elbow hung over the side. I'm gasping for air. I think I left my goggles back at the deep end over there.
Shoot, I'm out
some
the
old
pool,
lady's
man.
lapping me.
Yeah, I'm out the pool. I'm out the pool.
So before we completely lose control, we should probably wrap this up. So why don't you tell the good folks how they can find more of us and all the things?
We are at Riffs on IG. That is where you can find us. Please check us out there. You can also find us on all streaming platforms. Please leave a review. It really, really helps. Really, really helps. And you know what? If you like an episode, especially on IG, hit us up with a message. Let us know what you like about it. Ask us a question. Give us some referrals, if you will, and who you want us to cover next. We'd love to hear from you out there, you listeners, part of Riff Nation.
And leave us the reviews. Stay tuned for the next episode. We will chill to the next episode. Till then, hit them with the dismount.
Keep listening. Huzzah.